Okay, Laravel has given us our default authentication system. So we are using the Laravel authentication system. Now we will check when we have created our scaffolding. So which routes have Laravel has created for us and which route is going to which one controller. Okay, and let's check control P to check our web route. It is web.root and it is under routes web.php. And here we can see auth is a facade authentication facade and its routes function, so it's a helper function that is calling. And also the root get home controller is created with name root name is home. So roots, and we can check in our terminal by using a command. Okay, let's me expand it. And to check the rules that Laravel created when we have created our scaffolding, so php artisan root colon list. When we enter this command, so it will show the list of root that Laravel has created. Okay, so first one is the method that Laravel using get post and much of there are two, four or five get, post, put, update, and delete method. So, when we have created for our login, URI login, and here, if I show you in a browser, so login URI. So this one is the login URI, and it show the view login dot blade dot php. And this route is a login, and it goes to an name. Its root name is login, and it goes to action is app under app http app under http and controllers auth, and these are the controllers auth and login controller. This goes to controllers auth login controller, and it shows and use a show login form. And this middleware this controller is using is a web guest middleware. So default Laravel has a two middleware, guest middleware and auth middleware. Guest is to show you to show the user the layouts login or registration, and the auth is to check either the user is authenticated or not. Okay. Mm, let me show you the login controller first. And this login is using a traits authentication user. So you can see when user is logged in, it will redirect the user to directory //home. And we can check it this trait authentication user. Control C to copy, Control P and paste it. So we can see it is using a public function show login form. And here is a root. So login using a show login form. So when we go to our URI /login, so this URI goes to our root login root name, and this goes to a controller login controller. When we are in a login controller, so this is using a trait authentication user, and when it is in authentication user, so it will show returning this method is returning a view which is auth login. And here in uh, let me close this routes resources views auth, and here is a login dot blade which is showing to a user. So which one is this one is the login view that we have customized in our application. Okay, and let's go to our terminal. And when we use to our login register, so it's getting the get is use method to get the view file, and post is when we submit our form. Okay, and when we get our register, so named its register, and we can see in our file auth register. So this is our under auth register, and we are getting this form. When how we can get it? So you can see when we goes to a browser, and let me go to our home welcome page. When we click on register, so this goes to a URI register, and this URI register is go named root, and which is goes to a action controller app HTTP controller auth register controller, and a register controller, this controller using a method to show a registration form, and it is using a middleware which is a web guest middleware. Okay, and when we are in our, let's suppose, open a registration controller, where it is a register controller, let's close this login controller, login form. So in our register controller, see where we have filled our customized field. So it is using a registered trait, and when we see it go deep in the to check the registered trait, control P, paste this register user. So it is showing a public method function show registration form, and it return a view which is auth dot register. So under views, we have a register.blade. So when a user get this form, and it will submit that form, so the user is now getting its register form. When we register, hit register, so it will submit the post request to the controller. And in our register, uh, let's open our register. So it is open. Keep it. Okay, so when the user will have the registration form, so it will submit the form, and this form will go to a root register, and we can check in our terminal. So when a user put the post request register, it goes to the app HTTP controller auth register controller, and it will use the this method register method, and we can check it in our register user trade. So there is the request will come to the public function register. Here it will check the validation, and it will put to create a new register. So these function is register will use the trade validator function, which is in our register controller. So it is now checking public function validation, and it is putting the all the request that is getting from a user post request, and it is a array. So array will come here, and we have injected our array. So Laravel have, because this is the default function Laravel created and checking, so it will put the array in, and we are checking return validator. Validator is a function password to check the validation. Make is the helper function to check the data which is in array. So data is in array, we are checking all these are the validation rules. And to create a user, so it will create its method create, and it will put the data request data array data in method. And we have already dump it in a last video. So let's comment it, control / to comment, and it will comment it, and it will return user model, so which is a user model, and it's create a method, use a method create to create a new user. So it will get name, email, and password, and the data of array of password, field name, or password, and it will hash to encrypt that data. So in Laravel 5.6, it is using a hash and make. Before that, Laravel 5.5 or in a 5.4. So the function is let control L and D. So the function is using the bcrypt to be crypt. So this function was used in Laravel 5.5 and 5.4. So now it is using a hash method in Laravel 5.6 to encrypt the password. Save it. Okay, I think now you have better understanding. So where it from comes and where it is using a register function and where it is requesting and from where it is showing the registration form and so and we have a better understanding of root, login and register. So when we will create a register and when we will log in, so after that we will check our email password and forgotten password. So then we will discuss these two: password email and password request. So until that, stay tuned.